Yo everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is episode 3 of the short antenna videos, and it's gonna just be blurred today because it's pretty extensive, as you can see. Blurred is a nice antenna. It's probably one of the easiest to recognize because the antenna is blurry, as you can see. It's also B-type, but it's hard to tell because it's blurry. So like tilted blurred will be A-type, which you can kind of use to distinguish them if it's like this and the car is turning, so it's a bit harder to tell. But yeah, uh, it's B-type, blurred B-type. And then it's a, like, for short antenna, it's fairly confined, like it's never east or whatever. And then it's also very nice for south. So like there's two main clusters, which are this and south. Uh, and then it's kind of unlucky if you get this stuff, but it does exist and it can be nice 5Ks if you're able to identify it, but some of it is weird and it doesn't really look like it doesn't like it's hard to go west sometimes, but fire read maybe helps there. And sandiness. But yeah, we'll hopefully see this sometime today, and hopefully I'm gonna see something that distinguishes it from here. But yeah, the best thing about blurred is probably like the extremes of the coverage, like Chelyabinsk, for example, because like the middle is like identifiable without the antenna, but then when you get to like Ulyanovsk or something, it's very nice because it's only Ulyanovsk and it's never Saransk, Penza, stuff like this. And then same with Saratov, like it's Saratov but not Voronezh, it's Samara but not Orenburg. But then the middle stuff you can lose a lot of points on still. So uh yeah, that's kind of the thing with blurred. It's like, yeah, it's a guaranteed region, but to get a 5K, you want one of the border ones because even I struggle with Ufa, Tatarstan, Southern Ishevsk, Southern Perm. And then, yeah. Anything else to say? I guess May coverage, mainly just Northern Perm, and then a tiny bit in Moscow. Uh, but I don't think I've ever guessed Moscow on it yet. I don't think I've seen blurred May Moscow yet. And then, yeah, and then I guess October is here. September is this, which again is it can be useful for identifying south, but there's August up here, which can look similar, but the vegetation will be the better thing for identifying south and the topography. So yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. Actually, I need to turn on the training mode script because we want to be able to see the topography in the south, which is very useful for identify or for region guessing the south. Yeah, speaking of the south, so relatively flat. Like the south is characterized by flat, surrounded by mountains often. So if I turn on terrain map, you can see most of this is like perfectly flat, but then there's hills on all sides of very flat areas otherwise. Then you can get more rolling hills up towards Stavropol, but like this main part of the Caucasus, like you can see all of it's perfectly flat, and then there's mountains. So yeah. This is divided road, which should be this E50 here. That's the main divided road in the south. It can sometimes not be divided on old coverage, but yeah. This time it is divided. Uh, so there's a ridge far away in the distance to the north. There's like a ridge going northeast towards us, to our west. So if we just turn on terrain map, and think about where it would make sense. Maybe thinking this ridge is what's to our west. Maybe thinking this, but you don't see anything there. Yeah, this is kind of a weird one. I'm not really sure of where it makes sense. Hmm. I guess this makes most sense. Don't really see the angle though. Huh. Am I forgetting something? No, I don't think so. Yeah, southern trees has to be south. I'm just unsure of where the 5K is. Oh, it's there. Wait, did we see a mountain like directly to our south? Am I dumb? Oh, wait, I just forgot we saw this. Like, I was only looking for this, and I forgot about this. But yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So yeah, this was the ridge going northeast that we saw that I said, but I don't know what I'm doing. I just forgot we saw this. But yeah, that makes more sense. I've got country streak, not state streak on, but that's fine. Okay, here we've got this thing, which again is pretty useful. But we also have fairly dry looking grass, like just this I would associate with being quite dry looking. But we also have birch trees. That's a birch tree. That's a birch, and there's probably more birches. That's a birch, that's a birch. So yeah, dry but birch trees, you're typically thinking this area with that, or well, not really into Volgograd, but Saratov, Orenburg, Samara, and then Chelyabinsk, and then also like this area maybe, but this won't have blurred. So with blurred, if we go to here, I'll just turn on, make it yellow. This is probably the most likely area. Just with birch trees, we won't be here, and it's dry. So could be here, but again, this doesn't really feel as dry. And it's usually a bit hillier because most of the coverage is in the west, where it's a bit hillier within Chelyabinsk. Except for this, but like good luck with that. The rest of Troitsk is B-type. But yeah, this is usually a bit different, and usually there's even more birches here. And yeah, you can tell like the mountains in the distance. So yeah, this is a pretty distinct road. We then have this, which makes it very, very distinct. Wait, am I in the right oblast? Yeah, I am. So yeah, I think it should be this road. The pink blur is a Samara exclusive thing. It's found on this road here, the A300, all the way down to here. And then also in a few roads like downtown the city, but mainly this one. Not sure what caused it, but yeah. And then feels fairly dry, so thinking more south of the city, and also the roads up here are a bit hillier, because if you look at a train map of Samara, here is where most of the hills are. And then there's this thing, which is goofy. Okay. Blurred again, obviously. This is a little bit of a weird one. Very straight road. North-south angle. Maybe thinking east with like they're not like Omsk trees, but they're like, you'd expect more leaves on some of these birches, which is like the Omsk thing. So then maybe with those, you could consider going like North Chelia or something. But I don't really know where that lines up. Huh. Because, okay, so we don't have red soil, right? Which, or red or dark soil, which would basically fully eliminate Perm, Kirov, Ishevsk. And then we've got so many trees that it's not going to be like... I guess it could be like a weird Ulyanovsk here, because there's like weird forest here. So maybe I like that more than Chelyabinsk. But this is a weird round. There's the off chance of Ivanovo, but I feel like Ivanovo is overcast all the time in this, in blurred antenna. But this is this is a tough round too. Or round 3, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna send Ulyanovsk because it doesn't feel very Chelia, like the road quality is nice and stuff. Am I? Okay. Oh, I forgot Yoshkar Ola exists. That makes way more sense. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the trees looked weird, but they weren't no leaves enough to be Chelyabinsk. And then the road quality was probably too good for Chelia. But then it wasn't red soil, so not this area, but I forgot Yoshkar Ola existed, which I often do. Because like if you go to like here, you're gonna have darker soil. Or here. Well, this isn't the best example of it. Give me a good example, like here, yeah. So yeah, that's skill issue. I just forgot about this, but then I thought maybe like one of these forests here. Where are the forests here? Like this or something. But yeah. Yeah, I just forgot Yoshikar Ola exists. But yeah, Yoshikar Ola is like usually a decent one to, if you remember it, because it looks like Perm or Kirov, but with more, with different soil. This is the Kura something. Okay, well, massive body of water. We have birch trees again. So with the massive body of water, probably thinking this is the Volga River. Maybe, I'm not sure. And then this is the Kura something river that flows into it. Hmm. Wait, unless it's a lake in Chelyabinsk. I'm a little bit... Okay, maybe that's better. But then... Wait, let me just take a look-see. Okay, yeah, maybe it's something like that. I'm a little bit confused in this one. We don't have as much landscape to, like, guess off of based off of how much water we have. And then the hills south like that. I guess... I'm gonna check Ulyanovsk and stuff. Just for where it might make sense with divided along the waterfront. It's a little bit weird. What? Okay, I don't get a good vibe on the vegetation, because vegetation gets weirder around water. Yeah, I'm just gonna, This is such a wide body. Okay, I'm gonna say it's a lake in Chelia. I don't really know, to be honest. Okay, oh, it's that. Okay. I looked at this briefly. I saw this and was like, no, that doesn't make sense, but then this makes sense. Okay, yeah, that's troll. I hate water locations and bridge locations, which that basically was. But that's a skill issue. Okay. Thinking south again. Southern tree rows. Just more dry. We've got mountains, which also helps. We're like slightly, like we're not perfectly flat. Like here, it's more rolling, but then this way is fairly flat. So yeah, then we're probably thinking more Stavropol than these ones, because as you see, there's no like rolling really, like there is here, you know? It's like, yeah. And then with Overcast, I'd usually click on this road, I think it is, with Overcast. Is that the Overcast road? I forget. Would that make sense with Mountains East? No. Okay, so we're not there. So yeah, we're probably looking at this to our east, maybe. And we're just somewhere in here. Could it be the Cherkesk Overcast stuff? Maybe. Could it be something else that I'm forgetting about? Maybe. Baj or something. I'm just gonna send Stavropol because it should be. Okay, it's that. And then what's to... Oh, this stuff is to our east. Okay, yeah. So that road's overcast, and then this one is also overcast. Yeah, okay, so maybe it's these two. Yeah, but yeah, Stavropol with the slightly... this topography. Decent game. Round 4 was skill issue, but also it was cringe lock. Okay. Probably thinking more north with the trees. Like, yeah, mostly pine trees, which again is pretty weird for south. And then we've got Kazan pines, so probably thinking closer to Kazan. The road is a little bit suspicious. Thin road, slightly hilly. It's not like... It's like forested but also open, which makes me think of Ulyanovsk. Which also makes sense for the hilliness. Then that's pretty close to Kazan. I mean, Kazan pines are kind of fake, but it's just like when you've got baby pine plantations like this, where all the pine trees are small, then you're more likely to be closer to Kazan. Maybe it's just Kazan, but it feels like we've got too many trees here for Kazan, unless you go North Kazan. But yeah, and then it kind of reminded me of like one of these roads in Western Ulyanovsk. which there's like two of. So there's like this road, and there's this road. So yeah, I don't really see the angle here. So I guess I'll go on this one. Where was it again? Wait, let me just, yeah, Barrage, that's what I thought. So yeah, I guess this might make sense. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the pavement, I guess, and like no outer lines, so it's probably like a smaller road. Because if you look at like the rest of Ulyanovsk, it's like, okay, highway, 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 highway. Not really a highway, but it's flatter and sunflowers and yeah. So yeah, it was just one of these two roads, and then this is a similar road, but it didn't line up. And yeah, maybe there's more forest in this area. But yeah, that's just knowing where the forest is really, because yeah. Yeah. And then felt it kind of slightly bit dry, I guess. Just like this stuff, and then these like flower rows with like the yellow, but like also like the purpley blue flowers, I kind of associate with like this circle here. So like Voronezh to Ufa, but like up or down a bit as well. So like maybe northwestern Volgograd, maybe like southern Ryazan, southern Tula, Saransk, and then yeah, I don't think you really see them north of this line. I don't think you really see them south of this line, but I haven't fully researched that, but I've kind of been using that recently. These we have similar flowers, but they're not in the same kind of a row thing, where they're like close to the road. They're like more like scattered. Maybe thinking Kazan pines again. Pretty open landscape, pretty hilly landscape. So again, thinking similar area probably. Could see another Ulyanovsk. Maybe this road in Ulyanovsk that I coverage checked, but we didn't look at this exact place on. That would be like the other option. But again, soil doesn't feel red enough for like Ufa. Then it's too open for Chef's Confirm, which also would have red soil. It doesn't feel dry enough for Samara. And then it's like too hilly for like Ivanovo, for Moscow. And then Yoshkar is forested, and then it won't be south with these things. So yeah, I might try Western Ulyanovsk, or else it's just Tatarstan. But maybe it's recency bias because I just clicked this road. But okay, yeah, it's just Tatarstan. Makes sense. Let me just look at this road again, just to see. Okay. I mean, similar vibe, but this does feel a bit drier. Like this is kind of similar, and we've got more birch trees, but you can get birch trees in Kazan as well. But like, yeah. This is Ulyanovsk, Kazan, kind of hard. Ufa, Kazan, kind of hard. Yeah, Kazan is just like the middle one of these ones, so it kind of looks like all of them, which is the issue. Okay, probably south. Very little trees. All the trees we do have are short. Don't see any like birches or anything like that, so feeling good for south. Slightly hilly again, but it feels, yeah, I mean, this is relatively hilly, so, but we also have no ridges around, so like you'd expect to see a ridge if we were in this area, like anywhere where the coverage is anyway, because like you'd hit ridge south here, ridge north here, south here. So then, yeah, probably thinking this area, because most of this is Gen 4, and then the Gen 3, you would see a ridge in, unless you're up here, but this looks different. Wait, could it be this? No, you usually see a railway on that, I think. And also the road angle would make 0 sense. So yeah, it feels fairly dry, so thinking Stavropol or something. Yeah, I would think it's a Stavropol. It feels very dry. So yeah, I'm just gonna send in Stavropol. Okay, it's there. Okay, that also makes sense. Maybe I went too far north, but yeah, it was just somewhere like away from the greener part, and then the more east and the more north you go in Stavropol, the drier you get, like the closer to Alista, Astrakhan kind of vibes. Okay. Bit orangey red soil. Very hilly. Probably not thinking south. With the hilliness. Looks like we have sunflowers. So again, sunflowers thinking this region, with blurred anyway. You're not going to be like in Perm or something. very hilly. I think it feels kind of dry for Tatarstan though. And then construction. Do you have any Tatarstan pole plates? Doesn't look like it. Okay. We've got birches, yeah, okay, so that confirms not south, but again, probably wasn't going to be south in the first place with the hills and how many trees we have. I guess Ulyanovsk Samara makes most sense. Just eastern where the soil gets a bit more like Ufa. Actually, maybe it's just Ufa. Yeah, I could see like a western Ufa here. Does anything line up there? No. That's not going to line up in western Ufa. This is weird. I guess I'll try this then, but I just don't remember it being under construction. Okay, just southern Ulyanovsk, that makes sense. Yeah, Samara Ulyanovsk is a hard 50-50. But I guess the angle is probably better for here. And then this gets a bit extreme in the hilliness, but I guess I clicked where it's not as hilly with the angle. But yeah, if you saw the rainbow tourney, there was like a Samara around where me and Radu sent Ulyanovsk Samara because, I don't know, they look the exact same. A lot of the time anyway. But yeah. Okay, thinking south again with that, and then 3 rows of southern. Big mountain south, but do we have anything else? So a ridge to the southwest, and then flat to the north. The overcast kind of reminded me of this road here. Which kind of makes sense angle-wise as well. If we see something southwest, that makes sense. And then big mountain to the south would be this bit, I guess. So I'm going to send that in. And yeah, nice. So yeah, that's just know your topography and I guess overcast. But also, like, we've got nothing to the north and we've got something to the south. So we won't be in between here. And then, yeah, nothing to the north. You won't really be here if you can see far. And then, like, the only angle that makes sense is this one or else these ones. But I don't think these ones have outer lines. And I think they're also often Gen 4. Like this will be Gen 4. And it's also a smaller road, and then this is like a bigger road again, but again, Gen 4. And then it gets kind of cool once you get into this area. It gets kind of weird. It can be hard to go rush on around like this, I think. Like maybe you go Croatia or something, I don't really know. But yeah, this is cool area. And it's like overcast kind of helps with it, just kind of know the coverage, and then yeah, some cool stuff. Cool road. And yeah, and then you got south, and then once you get to this area, you've got something south and something north. So you're in this area, and then it gets a little bit harder in here as you're in like a more messy area topographically. So yeah, that's just know your coverage and topography. Decent game again. Samara Ulyanovsk and Ulyanovsk Tatarstan. Blurred is nice for bordering oblast, but yeah, it can be a bit tough for the actual oblast. Okay, thinking south again here. Southern tree rows, very slightly rolling. I'm not sure if that's too much for like Grozny or something. Maybe this could be the northeastern Grozny road. We've got a lot of cars, so maybe. What do you go here? Look, we don't see any ridges. I don't think that's a proper ridge. It feels fairly small. So maybe it's just Stavropol if we see no ridges. Again, unless we're up here and we don't see anything here, but doesn't really line up perfectly. So I'll ignore that. Oh, maybe right here. Okay, so we should be here or here. I think this road has a lot of cars on it actually. So maybe I try that. Does topography make sense? Yeah, it gets kind of hilly up here on this border region, but most of this is flatter. No, we've got so many cars. I don't think you get this many cars. So I think it's just like a main road in Stavropol. Like this road maybe, I guess. Yeah, okay, yeah. Like we had a lot of cars and trucks, so like you're gonna go yellow road usually. And also it was kind of wide, but at a junction, so then yellow roads get really wide at junctions often. But yeah, Let me coverage check Northeastern Grizzly. I think you got cars on this, but maybe you don't. Oh, you don't. Oops. But yeah, this kind of feels different. Yeah. Okay. A lot of cards for this road, I guess. Yeah, works for the entire route, or a decent stretch of it. Probably won't get as much here, but you still even get some here. I guess this is the road, part of the road from Piatigorsk to Astrakhan or something. I don't know why there's so many cars, but there is. Okay. This is a weird one, for sure. I can't tell if they're birches or not. I don't think there are any birches here. That almost is white enough bark for a birch. But this vegetation feels very weird. Again, that looks weird. This is a very weird round. uh this is one of the ones where I'm not sure of north versus south, which is kind of rare. Uh this is very unique. I just can't decipher the trees. Like they almost look like birches, but where would this be if it wasn't south? It's very dry, it's very hilly. So do you go like this area of Saratov maybe? Which is like this coverage here, which again gets fairly hilly as you can see. Do you go like Eastern Samara? I don't think you go Chelia or Ufa. Ufa would have red soil, and then Chelia, I don't think. Wait, this road exists. Okay, maybe it's that road. I forget what that road looks like. Isn't that a yellow road though? Oh, it's not. Okay, maybe it is this road then. Or is it like here? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, it's just Samara. uh, yeah, like I don't like. They looked like almost birches, but they look weird for birches. But yeah, Samara is very suspiciously not southern looking sometimes. Maybe they're birches and I'm just dumb, but uh, yeah. Again, I kind of like I couldn't think of where south that would be, right? Because like the roads through the hills, like with where would have like there's this road, but that's fully overcast and like looks different. It's not like outer lines or anything. Uh, then like this area, but again, this is a massive road and this one's through the hills. So like, yeah, the roads here don't really go through the hills for the most part. Like, uh, especially in like super forested areas. There's this one, but again, this looks very different. And then this one, these ones are through mountains. So yeah, I was kind of left up here. What does this actually look like out of curiosity? I have genuinely no clue what this looks like. I mean, similar, but we've got clear birch trees. Okay, sure. That makes sense to be more birches near Chelia. Yeah, skill issue. I should have clicked some arrow until that road looked nice. Kulikovo. Okay, so we've got Hogweed. We've got slightly wet road. We've got reddish soil. So maybe feeling good for the chef's perm here with hogweed. So hogweed is mainly like with blurred, I'd say mainly these ones, but also it exists in Ivanovo and Moscow. I don't really recognize the coverage. We've got fireweed, so again, fireweed would be a similar area to hogweed for blurred antenna at least, just like the northern stuff. The soil fairly hilly. Feels a little bit open, but it is fairly forested. I think perm is most likely. I just can't think of which perm rodent perm it is. And only this is red soil. This isn't like very reddish. It's probably too hilly for Ivanovo, I think, but again, nah, it's not too hilly for Ivanovo, but it looks fairly hilly. I'm gonna try South Perm with the mix of forest and not forest, but I have no clue here. It actually was even over. Wow. Okay, wait, Kulikov was like actually big enough. Hmm. Yeah, I guess like what made me not go even over was this thing. Like this looked too red to be even over. But again, I probably shouldn't trust it because it's clearly like not a natural formation, you know? But the rest of the soil, yeah, like the rest of the soil wasn't really red. Uh, yeah. Hmm. I'm not sure. That's a weird one. But yeah, I mentioned this area is annoying. Uh, because like it's like so rare that you don't want to send it, but sometimes it just looks like there. So, yeah. Okay. Very nice round here. Again, we've got massive mountains south, so we should be south. But again, trees feel southern. It's relatively flat. Also, usually Texas-ish pavement is more common south. We've got a ridge before the mountains south, which is interesting. And then we got mountains directly west of us as well. Okay, so then with all that in mind, this would make most sense, and then these would be the ridges south before the mountains. So maybe just something like this road, or that road, but same thing. But yeah, these are like the ridges before the mountains, and then you get into the mountains fairly quickly. And then this is why we have mountains west. But like here, I guess it could have been here. But the mountains west, and yeah, these like this thing you can kind of like tell, like this double ridge is kind of weird. But yeah, and then also the angle northeast is a bit better. Like this is like a little shorter northeast. This is like a steep northeast most of the time. But yeah, okay. Kurgan Bollard. So maybe this is Chelyabinsk with that, even though I was not personally in Chelyabinsk before that. I don't know how much weight to put into the Kurgan Bollard. And we've got mountains to the southwest. We've got, yeah. So yeah, I guess we just trust the Bollard here and go Chelya. I'm not very familiar with blurred Chelya coverage because there's so much long antenna in Chelya that I'm not really sure. I haven't really like seen blurred that often. But yeah, I think with mountains west, Chelyabinsk makes a lot of sense, and then looks like a nice road, so maybe this road. Okay, it's even over. But wait, why do we have mountains though? Or are they not mountains? Wait, where were they? They look so big. Or okay. Okay, maybe okay, it didn't look like Chelya except for the Kurgan Bollard and the hilliness. Uh but again, yeah, I guess yeah, Chelya would feel drier than this, and we'd have birch clumps, which we don't really have any of. We don't even have many birch trees in general. So again, that's a really bad guess. I just saw a mountain. Well, what looks like a mountain. Wait, what is that? Is it like a mine or something? I'm so confused. Or is it like this thing? But it looked so much bigger than it was. Uh, moving on. That's just a really, really bad guess. That's tough. Interesting vegetation again. Kind of looks like the same vegetation we had in the Eastern Samara round, but okay, we've got a lot of birch trees. So this time I think it'll be Chelyabinsk with how many birches we have. This, again, it feels dry, which, I mean, makes sense with the Samara round, but I guess these would be similar climates. They're both equidistant from dry Kazakhstan. So yeah, with the birches, I think, although, you do get like birch, you get a lot of birches on this road as well, which would kind of make sense with the road angle. But then it could also just be this road in Chelya, around here maybe, and yeah. So yeah, just the birches. I'll show you the other road in Samara that can look really baity in places. Where is the birch spam on this road? Maybe it doesn't exist in the extent that I thought it did. Okay. Wait, I swear I've seen one lock here and I got baited so hard by it. But yeah, that's a nice road, and then it's fairly hilly as you're into the foothills of the Urals. While also feeling fairly dry with the other trees that we saw in the Samara lock. I won't really read that. But it should be an oblast border, maybe. Okay. This is a hard one. I mean, vegetation should be southern. Very dark barked, no birches. Like, usually in, like, Samara, you'd have, like, a mix of birches and these trees. Like, Samara does have southern trees, but you'd have a mix most of the time. So I guess this will just be south and not Samara. And then doesn't feel very dry, like the grass is fairly nice. We've got like the trees look healthy. So probably thinking more west, because again it's too like we don't have ridges for this area. Like we'd see something like south if we were in this area. So maybe thinking this area with how green it is, or else you go western Stavropol with how green it is. I'm almost feeling an Adygea here. Which I might go for if I see something that lines up nicely in this area. I don't really see it. So, that's divided. I'm just gonna send and see where it is. Oh, it's... Wait. Okay, that's divided. Wait. So when does it stop being divided? That's still divided. Okay, that's no longer divided, so it stops like here. Okay. But it becomes divided again. I swear, wait, what? Maybe it's here? Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, it just becomes undivided for like this area. Wait, really? Let me look at in satellite. Yeah, it's not divided. Huh. I didn't know that. Interesting. Where's the game? Yeah. But yeah, it was like too green to be anything in Stavropol really. And then we didn't have like ridges south, so it was more likely to be here than here. So yeah. Usoka. Okay, this should be May coverage. Trees aren't fully grown. Grass isn't fully grown. Maybe have some yellow flowers that bloom in spring as well to confirm it, but we don't really see them. It's also hilly, so, and we've got red soil, so I would be thinking it's more perm than Moscow. I don't think this says anything. You're really cheeky. You're really cheeky, it sounds like. Uchu, yeah, I'm so bad at reading Russian when it's not clear. Like, Uslugi. Maybe that's a place name, I don't know. But yeah, it should be perm with the May coverage, the hilliness, and the red soil. Yeah, just gonna send that in. It doesn't feel like north perm to me. So if we look at the coverage, most of it is north. If we just look at this. But there's like a lot north, but I'm probably thinking just somewhere downtown. So I'll send that over here. Really, that's north. Wait a second here. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still perm. We take that, but I would not have went north here. But maybe that's a skill issue. Okay. Blurred. Very sandy. So you've got two options with blurred, really sandy, and this will be like one of them, I think. So yeah, I think it's just Nizhny sand, but in Ivanova. But yeah, I think it's too much sand to be anything else, and then not red soil, but it's also forested. We're in a little bit of a clearing, but you can tell it's very forested, this lock. So then Ivanova makes a lot of sense because this would all have redder soil. Unless it's like southern Kirov on this road, which wouldn't have red soil, but that's kind of hard to get. And then the other option would be Chelyabinsk, but I don't think we'd get fireweed there. And the trees also don't feel very Chelyabinsk to me. So I'm gonna try an Ivanova. And hopefully it works. Maybe it's this. I don't know. It was this. So yeah, Nizhny Sand, but Eastern Ivanovo makes sense with Nizhny. Like Nizhny Sand obviously isn't exclusive to Nizhny, but you get me. Okay, so here we've got very little trees on like these kind of hills here, which you'd expect to have trees in a lot of places. But then also the very sunny coverage. Is this an oblast? Wait. How do you pronounce Guvimlokt Krajibashtok Oshnabaya? Anyway, so yeah, it's just a very sunny road going through mountains like this. It should be just this road. I can't find it with train map on. Here. So yeah, I think it's just this road. Oh, Krasny Vostok is what we saw. So yeah, we should be here somewhere. As to where it lines up, I think this lines up. No. What? Wait, am I dumb? My head is not working today. I did not prepare to have the 5K. Wait, what am I doing? Why can't I not see the 5K? That's not it, right? No. So it's like, what? Oh. Okay. Wait. Okay, why did I just assumed we were on this side for some reason. But yeah, I guess we could just be on that side. But yeah, it's just like sunny road. If we go down here, it's just this road here. But like it's very distinct road, like these kind of hills. And then you get trees like the more west, but like the eastern part, you get less trees on it. And it's just very sunny, which is a nice confirmation. There's not many other roads that properly go through the mountains like this, or like over the mountains in Blurred, because like these are like all like flat areas. This is massive mountains, and then this is like a valley with some very cool locations from time to time. But again, you're not like properly going onto the hills for the most part. And the same with this area, you're usually just surrounded by hills. So then the only option is like going onto the hills, like this road maybe. But the vegetation feels a bit different, and you can also like see mountains properly a lot of the time. And then the angle is also completely different, like overall. And then also this road, but again, you can tell the differences. And then yeah, so that's that road. A better game here. Okay, maybe I was sketchy. I'll do one or two more, I suppose. Okay, slightly darker soil, fairly hilly. Little bit of forest, so maybe thinking Ufa with that. A lot of birch trees, which again maybe leans you more Chelia, but you can also just go Ufa. Soil slightly orangey red tinge, so maybe thinking more Ufa. And we have these like flower things, where it's like a line of like the mix of flowers along the road, which I talked about earlier, which I said was more Ufa than like Permishevsk. You can get it in Kazan, I guess, but it was like this area here. I actually haven't looked into if it's in Shalia, but I mean, I haven't really researched it at all, really. But I don't think I've seen it in Shalia, but again, it could be. So we'll see. I'm just gonna try Ufa though. I probably a bit north with how many trees we have, and it's Shalia. Okay, so you get them in Shalia as well. Yeah, soil felt a little bit more Ufa to me, but again, I think 2018 Shalia has different soil to 2013, maybe. But also like, yeah, sunset kind of put me in Ufa as well. There's a lot of sunset, but again, I'm just not really familiar with how many, or with how Chalia looks in short antenna, to be honest. So yeah, those flowers go to there as well, which is good to know. And yeah, I guess the birch trees probably didn't make as much sense for Ufa. But like, yeah, I thought it was like this kind of coverage, but again, the trees feel kind of different. Yeah, okay. The trees were weird, but the coverage looked more Ufa, so let me just try and get a high score game. Okay. So should be Krasnodar, I guess. Again, Texas is pavement, southern trees, sunflowers, everything fitting for south. Why do we have a hill north? Maybe it's Stavropol. And it's like here or something with a hill north. It's like those hills or something. But yeah, hill north doesn't really make sense for Krasnodar unless you go here, which we can look at briefly, but I don't really see a road that makes sense. So I guess you go on this road. But that is a yellow road. I mean, we've got a lot of cars. Just gonna send that. Yeah, I mean, I should have clicked closer to where it was, but I couldn't be bothered. But yeah, it's like it felt like a little bit green, but again, it's like closer to here, where you've got like a rain shadow from the mountains, I guess, before you get to here. Yeah, so it was gonna be here or here, but Mountain North made more sense for Stavropol. Yeah. Okay, this has Mountain North. I think this is this road here. Like here maybe, where we're like in between the hills for a little bit. And then, or maybe here, because we have, am I forgetting something? Wait, could be Dagestan. No. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. But I guess it's just this road. Yeah, okay. What am I doing? Wait, so, oh, there's houses. I didn't see this here. So that's what the houses were. Okay. Yeah, I just missed those roads there because they're tiny. I thought the town started here, which was weird, but yeah. Okay. Very rocky, which I know I've mentioned a lot for Karelia, Leningrad, but Perm, you also get very rocky on this section of the Kama River, I think it is. Why can't I read that properly? It's sideways, but yeah, Kama River. So yeah, you get that here. It's a little bit rarer than Karelia and stuff, but it's something to note. I don't think I've ever mentioned the Perm rocks before on this channel. So yeah. But you also get them in Perm. You also get them in Shalia. Like they're just body of water rocks and lake rocks. So like you're gonna see them like here, big body of water, a lot of water here. But then also obviously most water is here. So they're more common here, but they do exist elsewhere. But blurred antenna won't be anything northwest of Moscow. So yeah, I'm just gonna send in Perm. Oh, it's that. Oh, that makes sense. It's the Ural Mountain rocks. Yeah, because the soil didn't feel like red for Perm. And then we've got this as well, which is a very like through the mountains kind of thing. And like where the coverage in Perm is, you don't really go through the mountains, which are like here. Like there's one road here, but it isn't for antenna. With an east-west angle anyway. So yeah, this makes more sense, but it's right before the Gen 4 starts, so it's a little bit baity because the Gen 4 starts here. But yeah, again, that has the rocks as well. It's just mountain rocks, I guess. But yeah, I just forgot that this existed. But it makes more sense with the soil and maybe the trees and then also this thing. But yeah, I just sent too quickly there, that's a skill issue. Okay, we've got this thing, which is a meta for like between Nalchik and like here, I think. I don't know the exact distribution. But it's like somewhere in this area anyway. But yeah, same southern tree rows. We've got a ridge to the south. Looks like nothing to the north, but it's kind of hard to see on this lock. We've got a railway, which again helps a lot here. So if we've got nothing to the north, we're probably thinking this road, and again we've got a railway, and then we've got a ridge to the south, so I'm going to send that in. Lucky to get the 5k on that. I didn't even mean to click next to the intersection, but it worked. But yeah, that's a nice road, and then it's got the blur. You also got the blur a lot in Ingushetia on this stretch of the E50 because, like, I think it's like if we go to years, it like roughly corresponds. Wait, What? How does it work again? Like, because you get it here. Yeah, same thing. But you don't get it here. So, wait, how did this happen? Wait, is it month related? No, this is all September. I don't know, but it's here. It's here. I think it's still here, yeah. And it stops at Dagestan? Yeah. So yeah, it's like you get it starting from Nalchik here. And then maybe here as well? No. I don't know how I don't know how that smudge works because it doesn't really follow a pattern, but again, yeah, you just need to know the rough range of it. Okay, sunflowers, but won't be south because we have birch trees. So then with bird antenna, we're thinking this circle here, Samara, Ulyanovsk, Western Ufa, Southern Kazan. And then feels fairly flat, so Ulyanovsk, Samara, most likely, compared to Kazan and Ufa. Because if we just look at Western Ufa, it's like, okay, like this is fairly hilly. And then Kazan, Southern Kazan is fairly hilly. But again, it could be like this road, which is like downtown Ulyanovsk. I would think it's just like one of the Samara or Ulyanovsk roads, like downtown the rivers, like this. So I'm just gonna send that. And yeah, it's downtown the Volga River, which I thought. But again, it's kind of hard to get the road. But yeah, sunflower is good for here. But this area also is a bit more hilly than Ulyanovsk. Ulyanovsk is just like the flattest. Well, Eastern Ulyanovsk is fairly flat, as you can see. Like this is flat, this is flat, this is flat, and then you get a little bit of hills and forest in this area. But this is also Gen 4. So yeah, just the flatness. And then down here could have been possible, I guess. But again, this is mainly Gen 4. If we take a look at this, like this is all Gen 4, so then you get down here, but this feels really dry. But we also do have, oh, they're not sunflowers, but you usually get some, or maybe they are sunflowers and they're just growing. But yeah, 52 minutes. I guess I'll do one more seed quickly. Okay, we've got darker soil again, so Ufa, Tatarstan. Maybe a Tatarstan pole plate, but we're slightly too far away to make them out properly. Okay, it's very hilly to the southeast, which is interesting. We've got these, so maybe thinking it's Ufa, even though it looked like Perm, with the hill southeast. So maybe it's like on the border. Again, these flowers are kind of schizo, but you know, it's a work in progress. I'll let you know if anything happens with them. Might just try this road, and it is a max south of Chefs. But again, it's not too far away from the Ufa Voronezh line. But yeah, I guess main road. I should have clicked this road with how many cars there were, but South Perm and South Ishevsk look the exact same. I guess the Kazan pines are more Ishevsk than Ufa, but yeah, and the main road, but I kind of trolled that. Anyway, moving on. Okay, southern trees again. We've got a railway to the north, but we don't have the smudge. We've got a ridge to the south. We've got two ridges to the south. You've got one here and one behind it. So then this makes a lot of sense with the two ridges, like 1, 2. Where we were here earlier, you only see one because like you don't really see this properly. I don't know why, but just the way the ridges are. But yeah, I guess. Oh, maybe it's that we saw. Oh, that makes more sense. Okay, yeah, that's why there's two ridges. Because yeah, I was like kind of surprised we saw this one as well. But I guess it's this one that we are looking at, right? Yeah, surely that's like the close one. Yeah. And then railway. So this road with the railway. And yeah, just like that. So yeah, just know the road really. Okay. Very red soil. Very cool around here. When it's like, usually when it's like super red like this and you've got like an exposed red cliff, I like to go western Bashkortostan, like here, or you go on the Volga River in this area. I'll show you a lock after the seed, if I remember, that has some very cool red cliffs like this. I'm gonna try the Western Ufa one, and okay, Southwestern Ufa. Oh, that kind of makes sense, because you get, like, the random hill is a very Sterlita Mac thing, or like the random, like, crop out. like this. You can see them a lot here, but also this area. But I guess it's not as random, but yeah, more western with the random stuff, but again, it's just southwest. Or maybe that's just south and I'm coping. Okay, this should be the same road in Cherkesk that we had earlier. Very sunny coverage. We're going through the mountains. Yeah, not really sure what else this could be. So I'm just going to try that. Maybe I'll try and 5K this quickly. And hopefully I don't like tunnel vision on the wrong spot again. We've got more trees this time, so thinking more west. Don't really see where the 5K is. Maybe it's that. What's that? Yeah, we saw that mosque thing. So yeah, but yeah, that's a really nice road to get. Okay, overcast, mountains to the north. Could have. Okay, I guess it's just this road again, where we're like in the mountains. Maybe do we have mountains like east of us? No. But we should be in like this town maybe then. That's a nice plonk. Yeah. So we couldn't really see the mountains, but they were to our north. I thought we might have been here looking at these, but we didn't have big mountains on either side, so that made sense. I should have gone round one, but that's a hard one to send. So yeah, that's that. 2 5Ks, quite nice. Again, I could have 5K'd with this, but I didn't even look at the compass on that round. Well, I could have maybe not 5K'd it, but gotten close to 5K. I mean, there's an intersection maybe. But yeah, that's a blurred antenna, I suppose. And yeah, let me just like click through the things that we didn't get, and I'll show you the cool towns in Ufa with like the red exposed cliff. Which one is it? I think it's this town. Yeah, this stuff is really cool. But yeah, that's what I meant with like the red exposed rock on like a cliff face is like the Volga River. You can also see it in Gen 4 up in this area. You kind of see them. And then, yeah, this area probably has them as well. And then also this area with Sterolitomac Hills. Let me show like a Sterolitomac Hill like this one. This won't be as red as I don't think, but oh wait, we won't see it from there, will we? We have these kind of like random hills, which I thought we might have been looking at, but yeah, can't really make out the color down there. This road we missed out on. It's kind of foggy. It's going through the mountains. Vegetation does feel weird. It's kind of hard to get this road. What else? These roads in Samara, we got this one with the blur, but these look very similar, just without the blur. And like the road is like slightly smaller, in like this area and stuff. So yeah, that's southern Samara. Moscow is kind of just cursed, but you can just go it when it doesn't feel like the other areas, like it's forested, but we don't have the dark soil, so Moscow is quite possible, along with Mariel and Ivanovo. But Ivanovo is like mainly overcast and also a lot of hogweed. Hogweed is common in 2018 Ivanovo, but not 2019. But yeah, a lot of hogweed here, and then the soil and the sandiness. I just skill issued the Ivanovos at the start, because when you don't generate a map just to have them, you usually get like more long antenna stuff. Like you can see all the rest of the coverage is mainly long antenna, or else it's like B-type in some of these areas here. This is a very interesting looking Ivanova round. Don't know if I get that. Then there's Kirov, which is kind of weird to get. You can just learn this road. Like there's one road. It's always driving north. It gets rainy coverage when you get close to Kirov. Or like wet-ish road when you get close to Kirov. Where's my wet road? But yeah, purple flowers or fireweed, and usually some hogweed as well. But you can kind of like look at the topography, and it's like slightly like it goes like up and down the road from times. Like it's I don't know how to put it into words, but like this, yeah, like that kind of a weird hilliness, and then super red soil, and yeah, you just learn the road really. Ishevsk probably has the darkest soil in places. Some weird open Ishevsk up here, but again the soil is super dark. And yeah, you can see the forests in the distance and the hills. Let me try and show a Tatarstan pole plate because it's very important for blurred. I don't know how quickly I'm going to find one. Those poles won't have them because they're wooden, I think. Or they're like too small poles, what am I saying? Can I see like a proper pole, please? Usually you see them. Maybe I have to look in Gen... Like, they're more common in Gen 4, so maybe I'll look in a Gen 4 lock. This is a really cool lock, though. What? But yeah, cool soil on that. Show me the poles. Yeah, these are like the bigger poles that usually have them, is what I meant. I think we see one there. Yeah, so you can see it there. So you've got this yellow plate and you've got the white or silver like metal holder on it, which is this line here. And then you can see another one there. And maybe I can get closer to them on this curve to our south. Yeah, this will be a better example. Yeah, so this kind of a thing. So the metal holder like that, and then the plate like that. And that's like 99.99% Tatterstan, which is useful. What else didn't we get? Like divided road in UFA. Also often has discolored road lines. Then this looks like perm. This is weird stuff. There's a really cool road here that can be hard to go Russia on. I love this road. It's very based. Yeah, we've got rocks though, which again is this region of perm, but also like perm and then this area, just Ural rocks, I guess, and then also lakes here. The Chelyabinsk stuff I guessed, but I don't think we got. Oh no, we got once. But yeah, it's kind of hard, but again, you're in like the foothills of the Urals, but the soil doesn't feel weird. Like it feels weird, but it doesn't feel like Ufa or something. We didn't really get Dagestan like this road with like mountains west. We've got Dagestan like white brick architecture. And mountains west were coast to the east, and then it goes all the way down here to Azerbaijan, which I wish had coverage. And then there's the mountain roads. There's some really, really, really weird roads in this area where it's like impossible to go rush on at times. Like, what is this? Obviously, if you see the architecture on the coast east, then it's gettable. But if you get a location here, it is quite hard to go Russia on without poles and stuff. But yeah, that's some interesting stuff. And then yeah, just the whole road is like flat to the east, mountains to the west because it's coastal. Mashakala has like the mountains. There's a cool road here with like, yeah, like the Mediterranean kind of vibe. Just like the coastal stuff, like you'll see in Krasnodar and you'll see here, but you won't really get it in the middle, like this Mediterranean foliage. Like it looks more like Turkey than the other stuff, I guess, is how you put it. Yeah, we got most of the stuff here in here. The Elbrus Road is blurred, but it's mostly Gen 4, but it just has massive mountains. Saratov stuff is weird. It's kind of hard to send. You usually just go Samara on it, where it's got like southern, like it feels dry, but you'll usually have some birch trees visible. Don't really see, we see some on this lock. But yeah, it's kind of hard to get. Usually you just send Samara because it's more likely to be in Samara. And then this, again, it feels fairly dry, but we've got birches. This area can be weird with how hilly it is, surprisingly, but yeah. Ilias we got a few times. There's this very baity section of Yoshkar Ola, which has this, where it looks like circuit. I think I mentioned that in the B-type video. And then just like forested, but doesn't have the red soil for here, but also could be Moscow, but the road angle kind of helps. Like this is very straight, this is very straight. Tatarstan, we didn't get much of, but you can see the Kazan Pines. And then as you get more east, it looks more like Ufa. And then as you get closer to Ashevsk, the soil gets darker. As you can see, as you're about to cross the border. Oh, as we've crossed the border. But as you're about to cross the border, the soil gets darker. So yeah, that's that. I think that's everything. There's very north perm stuff with May coverage. There's this separated town with May coverage. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Moscow, oh, the Kostroma Road. So This road got Gen 4, but it didn't get published in this area for whatever reason, and also like some panos, but mainly in this area. Can be quite hard to get right because, yeah, usually you just go like Moscow on this, but the road is kind of bad, so maybe don't go Moscow. And then same thing applied to the Kirov Perm road, which also has Gen 4. If we like click a little bit, oh, I guess this is divided technically, so then it won't have Gen 4 or something, or else it just doesn't have Gen 4 for a bit. But yeah, if we click here, the soil is very different in Gen 4, so it's kind of hard. Yeah, this road also has Gen 4 starting from here, or starting from here. So this can be baity, but it's very hilly. More birches than the rest of Perm, while also having darker soil. And yeah, that's about everything, I guess. Hope you found this helpful. Hope you enjoyed the video. I was thinking of doing some non-Russia stuff. I was jokingly talking about doing Ireland region guessing video where I get to show my bin metas or something. Because my Ireland bin metas go crazy, I won't lie. Cork bins or whatever. There's Cork bins, there's Limerick bins, there's Galway bins, there's Dublin bins. There's Kerry bins. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll do that. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching and peace.